In today's video, I'll be discussing my experience with a narcissist and the reason as to why I've decided to share my experience. For sure, I'm going to be honest, I battled with sharing my experience, but I've decided to share it so that any young man, any young woman does not rush to settle down with someone or to get into a relationship with something that can destroy them for a very long time. The main thing that makes a person a narcissist is someone who lacks empathy at all. And I'm surprised, I never knew that there are people who really don't have empathy, but they are. And I came to learn about it later. So in this video, I will be sharing how I came out to find out that that person was a narcissist and my experience. So my name is Fides and welcome to the informative. So this person, I met him in 2017, August. I think it was 19th or 20 something, but we had gone to the same primary school and we met later in life. I will not get into the details of that. So yeah, we began our relationship in August 22nd, 2017, and then I moved in with him. Or rather, he came to my mom and he told her that he likes me. I don't want to use love because for real, it was not love. He came to my mom's house and he told her, I'm moving out of my parents' house and I would like to move in with your daughter. He had told me he wanted to move in with me, and I was like, I loved him. I loved the guy so much, and I was happy. I was even like, oh my God, he has decided to go to my mom and ask for permission instead of just eloping with me. And yeah, we started living with him. And when you're out of a relationship and you usually ask what were the red flags, I'm sure there were red flags. So when we were dating, before I moved in with him, I was staying at home with my sister's son, my nephew, because I had finished school in 2017, and the month that I had finished school, we couldn't graduate, so I had to wait for a whole year and then graduate. So during that time, I was just involved in volunteer activities and taking care of my sister's son. So yeah, the guy would come, they have a small sister, he would come, and where we used to stay, it was next to a supermarket. So he would go to the supermarket and do shopping for his sister and pass by our house, like saying hi to me. And he would come with these transparent papers and we could tell that is chocolate, that is crisps, and he knows where he's coming. There's a little baby, and I would never ask him, but I had questions inside me. Why would someone do that? He knows he's coming, where he's coming to visit, there's a child, and yet he would come carrying the snacks and not give it to the child. So those are some of the red flags that hit me later. Why those were red flags? And so moving forward, when we moved in with him, I remember in Kenya, I live in Kenya. So in Kenya, there was then 2017, that's when this slogan of Slay Queen was really trending. And when it was used by guys, they didn't mean it in a nice way. And I really hated it. I remember I would have discussions and I would tell him, I don't like the way men are referring to ladies as Slay Queens. And I mean it in a bad way. So I remember this is the first time that he said that something that really hurt me. I was doing something in the kitchen and then he said, unajifanyanga sana kama slay queen, sijui nini nini. I was hurt because this is someone that I told I don't like that term slay queen. So he was referring to me as a slay queen. So yeah, we continued living together. Of course, I'm in love with a guy. So yeah, we had discussion because we were not using protection, and I was like, if we continue like this, there are chances that I'll get pregnant. I'm like, yeah, I would love to have a baby with you. That's not a problem. So yeah, we continued with our thing, and I felt pregnant. And for me, when I felt pregnant, I didn't even do a test. I just knew. I usually feel like I have really strong instincts, and I'm able to tell things even without having to prove. So now, I was going to town and I was using a matatu, and I love chewing gum. I was chewing gum and then I'm feeling like vomiting. I'm like, I've never chewed gum and I felt like this. And I thought, it just hit me, could I be pregnant? And I was like, Okay, so I waited for my menses, they didn't come, and they passed, and I knew I was pregnant. I didn't do a test. Even though we had discussed with this person that there were high chances that we would get pregnant, I was afraid of how I was going to tell him. I don't know why. So I remember one day he came from work and I followed him to the bedroom as he was changing his clothes. I sat there on the bed just looking at him. How am I going to start this discussion? I don't know why I felt afraid, but I did. So I bolted out, I'm pregnant. I was like, what? He continued. He didn't take it seriously. He continued changing his clothes. I told him, yeah, I'm pregnant. He asked me, how did you know that you are pregnant? I told him, I did a test. And then he's like, if you're pregnant, I need to see that test. I told him I've already thrown it in the dustbin. He went to the dustbin to check, and I knew I hadn't taken any test. So the guy came back to the bedroom. He lifted. That is the first time that is the first time he did something that something I didn't expect and something that was hurtful. So he held me by the neck and he lifted me up, and I could see in his face he had totally changed. He just lifted me up. He was choking me, and then he threw me back to the bed. And I remember I cried. I was like, why would you do that to me? I've just told you I was pregnant. You are rejecting this child even before it's born. I remember using that word. I told him, you're rejecting my baby even before the baby is born. And this is a discussion that we already had. And then he started crying. He started telling me, I don't know what has overcome me. I didn't know what I was doing. Please forgive me. I cried. We were living in our own bedroom. I went and I slept on the seat, and I told him, because where we stay, then we were staying in a place called Raka, and it was not as developed as it is right now. In a place in Mushada there, Banana, when you're going to Banana, somewhere there. We actually, Thiongo Road, it was on Thiongo Road. And the place wasn't really developed. I told him, because where we stay is not safe for me to go at night. I will wake up tomorrow and I will go home, because I don't understand why would you choke me like that. And then start crying, saying you don't know what has overcome you. And then throw me on the bed. So I'm going to go home, and I think, I don't think this is a healthy environment for me to be in, because I have done nothing wrong. So he started crying. He told me, you can't leave me. I don't know how to live alone. Oh, speaking about living alone, before he talked to my mom about me moving in with him, he came and told me, I don't want to live alone. You're my girlfriend. I don't know how to live alone. And since I'm moving out of home, please, can you come and live with me? So now it proves narcissists, they don't know, they can't stand themselves, they can't stay by themselves. The way a normal person can live in their own house alone, they don't know. So yeah, he cried, and I loved him. And I was like, I forgave him, and we continued living. So yeah, the things that he would tell me, I remember at the time when I was pregnant, I was still pregnant, we had gone to church. And you see, when the service is over and everyone moves out, I was wearing this black jumpsuit that I bought when I was in campus. And I remember so many people would tell me, Fides, that jumpsuit really looks nice. And the guy just followed me from the behind, and he was taller than me. And you can imagine there are other people coming out. He bolted out, what is that you're wearing? You look so bad. And that time, it was during our anniversary. I remember we were supposed to come from church and then go to a place where we were supposed to go and have our anniversary date. And I was hurt. I didn't say a thing. First of all, the things that were going on in my mind, I was like, does this person even care about me? If you really care about me, if you thought what I was wearing is not appealing to your eyes, you would have told me before we walked out of the house. Why would you wait when people are behind us, and then you just tell me with a loud voice, what is that you're wearing? You look so bad. I was hurt. My heart sank. When we got to the car, I just told him, I don't feel like going anywhere. Can you just go back? So yeah, in this video, I'm not going to tell you the whole relationship, but I'm going to share the things that he used to tell me. Days went by. He would say things. I remember in the morning, I used to wake up. I was not married officially, but the parents came to our home. We had started the Kamba traditional wedding preparations. I was not officially married, but I did what a wife normally does when she's living with her husband. I'd wake up in the morning, ensure that his favorite fruit is there, I packed his lunch pack, and all those kind of things. And I don't regret doing them because I was doing for someone that I cared about. So yeah, out of nowhere, he would just utter mean things to me. And then he'd get to work and send me a text message and tell me, I know what I said was not right. He would never tell me, forgive me. He would just tell me, I know what I said was not right. And oh, I've remembered before I moved in with this guy. I was born in 31st of December, so we started dating in August 2017. So December was my birthday, and I remember, of course, he knew it was my birthday, and he says, "Today I really feel like eating nyama choma. Can we go eat nyama choma for your birthday?" Can you see how that's selfish? They are so self-centered. They don't care about the other person. It's my birthday, but all you want to do is take me to eat nyama choma because you feel like eating nyama choma. And even when we were going to do shopping for the house, the guy, I remember, would go shop in a mall, and in malls we have places for shoes and clothing and things like those. He'd walk in a shop and buy for himself like 3 pairs of shoes. And not even tell me, babe, can you pick something for yourself? He really didn't care about me. And I would not act out, but I would have pain in me. And when we get to the house, he's like, I would ask him, surely you would just pick shoes for yourself, like 3 pairs. And men's shoes, how expensive they are. You just pick 3 pairs. And please, I'm not entitled. I just believe these are things that someone in a relationship, or two people who are in a relationship, you should do things for each other to show that you care for them. We are going to do shopping for the house, but you would pick things for yourself and not even think about, hey, there's another person here, I need to ask them to pick something, or even just pick something for them. So we would get to the house and I'd ask him, surely you just picked 3 pairs of shoes and I was there, and you didn't ask me to pick even a pair or something for myself. But yeah, that was it. I would go, we're doing shopping for the house, and I love chevda and crisps and some cookies, and I would pick chevda because we are doing the monthly shopping, and he would tell me, pick the small one. Yeah, he would change all of a sudden, pick the small one. I remember that I would never forget, just when Kafo had come, we went and I picked the big chevda, and he was like, return that one, I want you to pick the small one. And I couldn't believe, but I was like, anyway, so that is not important. After all, I'm not in this relationship for chevda. But looking back right now, someone who cared about me, they wouldn't be bothered for some. Then it was 100 and something, I think 180, the larger one, I don't know. Yeah. So other things he would do, I remember there's a time I was really sick. Actually, after I gave birth, my immune system went down and I would get sick frequently. So for me, when he was sick, I would continuously monitor his temperature. I would ask him what it is that he wanted to have, and he would tell me, like, I cared for him. And this particular time, I was really sick. And instead of coming to ask me, how are you feeling, he just stood on the door and he was like, so you have decided what are you going to cook for dinner today? I'm sick, my temperatures are high, and I have a little child, and all you think about is what you're going to have for dinner. Yeah. So yeah, those are the things that he used to do. Another thing that he said during the relationship that makes me believe the person that I was with was a narcissist. At the time we were buying corn. Is it corn that has been, is it grilled or burnt by the roadside? As we call it, India kuchoma. And when we were standing there was this lady, she was not speaking, okay, she just came there and started speaking in English. And then he said, that lady, she has spoken in English because we are here. if we were not here, she would not have spoken in English. Able look at her. Do you think that she looked like someone who can speak in English? So yeah. So another thing he said was, when we were in church, and he whispered to me, "Babe, look at people. People are looking at us because our child is very cute." Statements that narcissists make. Yeah. When I was about to give birth, I decided that I'm going to take pictures 2 weeks prior. That's another story for another day. I'll be sharing on my channel, and I'll be discussing my labor and delivery story. So on that particular day, I told him there are these people who used to take pictures of me since when I was in campus, and they have always taken really nice pictures. I would love, because you have a car, I would love for you to take me to that particular studio for me to take pictures. And he told me, then we were still living in Rwaka, he told me, "I don't feel like going to the CBD. If you cannot go to the studio that is next to our house, then I'm not going to take you." And I went by myself, and apparently that is the day that my daughter came. So yeah, that is a story for another day. My baby was born with a lot of allergies, and she would wake up at night and she would really trouble me. I remember there's this particular night. You see, a baby who's born with allergies, not unless as a parent you take the initiative to do the tests, to get to know all the things that your child reacts to, you will not know. So this particular day, she was still exclusively breastfeeding. We had fish in the house, and I didn't know my daughter was allergic to fish. So when I woke up at night, because I remember our bedroom was ensuite. Then we had moved to a bigger house. The bedroom that we were sleeping in was ensuite. So we used to leave the bathrooms lights on so that we can see the child, but switch off the ones for the room that we're living in. So from the bathroom we'd use the lights in. When I woke up, my baby was making weird sounds. So when I woke up to check up on her face had lumps, big, huge ones. And you know, it's a small child. She has big lumps all over her face. So I went to I couldn't see clearly. I went to the living room. So when I went to the living room, that's when I was able to ascertain that her face had things all over her face. And I was so scared because it's my first child. Because he had a car, I went to wake him up to ask him. Because you know, when you have a first time moms would understand me. Things like that would be a scare. Because I knew if your child had a reaction, I knew it was an allergic reaction, but I didn't know how severe it was. And I had Googled and seen that there are babies who die because of an allergic reaction. So I was like, "Could you please wake up? Our child needs to go to the hospital right now." He told me, "Don't you ever wake me up when I'm sleeping." Again, self-centered. And in this video, I wouldn't feel bad if my daughter ever watched it, because even her, she's experienced it. She's, even right now, in her age right now, she's still experiencing his selfishness, because this is the kind of person who will still call her when he wants to. He can even go for a whole year without calling her. And he just calls her when he feels to. He calls her when he feels like. He comes to see her when he feels like. And according to the Kenyan government, you can't deny a man to see his child, or a mother to see their child, because it's their right as a parent to see their child. So what I do, I just pray to God and I tell him, this is beyond my control, and there's no way I would ever tell him to never see his child. If he wants to call her when he wants to, you just protect my child. Do not allow her to be damaged, but deal with him. Deal with him the way you know how, because that is your battle. I believe there are battles that belong to the Lord, and you shouldn't fight them yourself. So yeah, another thing that he does, I remember there's a time it was my daughter's birthday, and I called him and I told him, "It's her birthday, so what are you planning to do?" He told me, "I don't have any money and I'm not going to contribute." This is someone, he earns so well. He earns really well, and he tells me that. Again, I'm not entitled. I just feel it's it's a good thing to do as a parent. So I told him, why would you be so selfish? He told me, I will always come first. I will always come first before anyone. Yeah, I tried and I was hurt. Then I cried about it. Now I don't do it anymore. If he does anything that is hurtful to me, I dedicate him to God. And I told him, I've already dedicated you to God. So yeah, I just pray about it. I pray for my daughter. Sometimes I even ask God for some things that I'm yeah, but I just pray. I pray about it. I really pray about it. So there's also another time when we had gone to Mombasa for a vacation, and I noticed he was so sad. He looked so depressed, and because we had traveled with the baby and she was disturbing the whole time, she kept on crying. For a moment I thought maybe he was behaving that because of the child, maybe he felt she was interrupting, but I don't want to speak on that. But I remember me asking him, why do you look like that? He told me, not himself. I remember we were preparing for dinner and he was laying in bed. I asked him, why do you look so sad? He told me, even I don't understand, and please understand, it's not about you, it's me. Nothing makes me happy anymore, nothing excites me. He confessed with his own mouth. He told me that he might get happy for a moment, but nothing ever excites him anymore. Another thing that he did as a narcissist, I remember there was this time I had traveled with work, I was not around, so my daughter was left to the house help. So as she was playing, the girl was boiling water for her to shower, so she passed with her bike and hit the water, and it poured on her leg, and my daughter was burnt. The kind of job that he does is he's able to work from home. So I called him, I told him the baby has been burnt, can you, because I'm so far, can you please drive and go and take the baby to hospital? He hung up. He never called to find out how the child was doing. He never, and please note, I'm not being a bitter person. In the purpose of this video is to show you the kind of things that narcissists are capable of doing and to inform you. So yeah, so he didn't call her. He came to see her 8 months when the thing had healed, and that was when he felt like he always does what he feels like doing. Yeah, so yeah, he never bothered to go to see her to know how the child went to hospital. So yeah, what I can say is that if you're a young girl or a young man who is about to get into a relationship, I say that relationship with someone because mine was serious and it ended up a child was born out of that relationship, a baby that I love so dearly, and I would give my life for her. You need to be careful. You need to be careful. You need to learn the person. You need to learn the characteristics of the person, and they're usually red flags. A narcissist will come out as a mean person and someone who is self-centered. I remember the time we went to a restaurant somewhere in Lamington, and by then our child was so small and it was in a very cold area, and the lady was kind enough to ensure our baby was fine. She was like, I can bring you a place where the baby can sleep if she wants to sleep. She carried, you see these things that have fire coming inside through them, and she was a very small girl. She was able to carry that thing and bring it to a table. She really served us well. And I told him, this lady has really served us well. Could you please, when you're paying, because I knew he was never the kind of person to give tips, even if you've been served well. I told him, please, this one, give her something. He told me they have a salary. They have a salary even if she has served us well, she has a salary. She can go eat from her salary. I just got into my pockets, and in that flip thing, I put what I had because I really loved the way the lady served us. And those are just some of the examples of the things that he did and how I came to realize that I was dealing with a narcissist after we had separated. My daughter was so sick and I didn't have money to take her to hospital. So because he had blocked me everywhere, I called a friend and I told her I'm in hospital right now, and I don't know why I still believed, even after he had shown me he didn't care. I believe if you send him these videos, he's going to do something about it. So I sent the videos of us in hospital and I told her to tell him that the baby is sick. and he told her, tell her that I have not seen the videos. And then I didn't know the kind of person that I was dealing with all this time. My friend called me. She didn't even text. She called me back and she told me, Fides, I would like to tell you something. You are not dealing with a normal person. You are dealing with a narcissist. You need to get your shit together. You need to get a job. You need to take care of your needs, because this is not someone cares at all. I couldn't believe. That's when I had my friend from school is the one who told me about narcissists. And Jackie, wherever you are, if you see this video, you're the one who introduced me to that term. I had not come across that term, narcissist. I googled, and everything that I googled, I studied, I did my research, everything that he says. I believe there are various types of narcissists, but mine was a narcissist to the book. He's the kind of person, if things did not go his way, they say that narcissists have really not grown to a certain extent. So in difficult situations that act like babies, he would jump up and down, screaming. And there's a time I told him, if someone is outside and listen to us, they would think there are two women in the house because of how you're carrying yourself. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. If it has been informative, I'll talk about my experience with a narcissist more. I know it sounds all over the place, but thank you for watching. And if you're any person who's about to get into a relationship, please learn the person. Don't be in a hurry to move in with them. Look at him around children, because mine, I remember the time we were around a baby that was crying, and he said, that baby is crying so much. I don't like babies who cry. And I told him, babies will always cry. So what happens if you get yours who cries the whole night? He told me, that one I will love because it was mine. Unfortunately, that is not the case. So there are so many more instances, but ladies and gentlemen, you need to research about narcissists. These are people who are there, and it comes from maybe how they were raised. It's not genetic, it's more of how a person was raised. And I just hope no one gets to fall into the hands of a narcissist. And if you fall into the hands of a narcissist, God blesses you with the community to help you through it, because it's not easy. It can make you go crazy. So many hurtful things were said during the relationship. I remember when it was coming to an end, I had lost so much weight. I believe I looked really bad, because not because of what was going on the outside, but because of the things that he would tell me when maybe we had had a misunderstanding, we didn't get along, or we had fought. He would tell me things. You know, there are things that you're told that pierce you to the soul, and when you have been hurt internally, you don't know how to speak for yourself. When someone hurts you to the core, you just keep quiet. So yeah, I remember the time he told me, look at you, you look so bad that no one would ever love you. You look like someone who has been bewitched. He also told me, if we separate, because it reached a point I told him, we really don't have a future. I can tell there's no future. And he told me, the day that we separate with you, it's going to be downhill from now. God has been faithful. Other ways where the narcissistic personality will come out would be when he has done some, when you wrong someone, the right thing to do is for you to go and tell them that you're sorry. So whenever he would do something and then he would realize he has done something wrong, he wouldn't tell me sorry. He would just tell me, oh, today I feel like going to eat out. Do you want to come? Do you want to come along? Or because he has dreadlocks, he would tell me, oh, today I'm going to make my hair. You can come along and come and make your nails, because when it came to my hair, I've always preferred someone to come to my house and make it from there. So yeah, so because he's going to the salon to have his dreadlocks retouched, then he'll tell me, then you can come and make your nails. So when you're going, he's like, I don't like seeing you sad. That's why I've decided today I come with you and then you go and make your nails. But he will never say that he's sorry. And as you can see, it was still about him, saying he wants to go and eat out. He's going to make his hair, so I should accompany him. Selfish. You see, another thing you experience if you're staying with a narcissist, after some time, or when something major happens in the relationship, you start feeling lonely. Being in a relationship with a narcissist is very lonely because you feel that your needs are not met. It's always about the other person. And I believe when two people come into a relationship, it's about you being there for one another, caring for each other, helping each other through ups and downs. But narcissists don't know how to do that. It has to be about them. If they're doing something, it's about them. Yeah. He would also make statements like, oh, a friend called me, he has bought this, so he has called me to tell me he has bought this to try and compete with me because he knows I will always be the best. I remember there's this guy, I don't know if they were friends or they were competing with each other truly, because the kind of remarks that I would hear. There's a time a friend of his bought an aquarium. So when he called him, they studied together in high school. When he called him, he told me, babe, this guy has called me to tell me he has bought an aquarium. He's always competing with me. He doesn't know that I'm the best. Even back in campus, I used to be better than him. That's why when he does something like that, he has to call me and tell me, who buys a fish tank? I'm telling you right now, the guy that I'm talking about has a fish tank. Yet he was talking bad things about his friend. And also he would make comments like, in my company, I'm the best, I'm a gig. Because sometimes you'd go to work late and then ask him, you're not afraid you're going to get fired? No, I'm the best at my company. And because he's a software engineer, he'd say software engineers, good software engineers are very rare in Kenya, so they can't fire me. They've been looking for even other junior software engineers in the company and they haven't found. So yeah, even if I go late, they can't fire me because I really know what I'm doing. Ladies and gentlemen, narcissists are real and there are people who can hurt you to the core. Be careful. Thank you for watching.